Good afternoon and welcome. Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. We'll be focusing on Operation Sindoor, India's action against terror camps in Pakistan, coming up in the next hour. India conducts Operation Sindoor, a name suggested by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, strikes 9 terror hideout of Lashkar-e-Toiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed and Hizbul Mujahideen in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri says India exercised its right to respond, preempt and deter more cross-border attacks following Pahalgam terror attack. 2 women officers brief media along with the Foreign Secretary elaborate on the reasons for choosing the 9 non-military terror training ground targets. India presents actual video evidence of the strikes. And Pakistan violates ceasefire hours after India strikes terror camps. Indian Army continues to respond appropriately. The Indian Armed Forces launched Operation Sindoor, hitting terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, POK, from where terrorist attacks against India have been planned and directed. Prime Minister Narendra Modi personally decided to name India's military strikes in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir as Operation Sindoor. Altogether, 9 terror camps of Lashkar-e-Toiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed and Hizbul Mujahideen in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir were targeted and destroyed. Defence Ministry in a press release said these actions have been focused, measured and non-escalatory in nature. No Pakistani military facilities have been targeted. India has demonstrated considerable restraint in selection of targets and method of execution. It further said these steps taken in the wake of the barbaric Pahalgam terrorist attack in which 25 Indians and 1 Nepali citizen were murdered. And Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri had said India had exercised its right to respond, preempt and deter more cross-border attacks following the Pahalgam terror attack. Briefing the media on Operation Sindoor, India's Foreign Secretary said that upon investigating the Pahalgam terror attack, communication notes of terrorists in and to Pakistan has come to light. Those are the updates on Operation Sindoor. An important press conference also was held earlier today, wherein Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri had said that India had exercised its right to respond, preempt and deter more cross-border attacks following the Pahalgam terror attack. Briefing media on Operation Sindoor, India's Foreign Secretary said, upon investigating the Pahalgam terror attack, communication notes of terrorists in and to Pakistan has come to light.
Investigations into the Pahalgam terror attack have brought out the communication notes of terrorists in and to Pakistan. The claims made by the Resistance Front and their reposting by known social media handles of the Lashkar-e-Toiba speak for themselves. Identification of the attackers based on eyewitness accounts as well as other information available to law enforcement agencies has also progressed. Our intelligence has developed an accurate picture of the planners and backers of this team. The features of this attack also tie in with Pakistan's long track record of perpetrating cross-border terrorism in India, which is well documented and beyond question. Pakistan also has a well-deserved reputation as a haven for terrorists from around the world, with internationally proscribed terrorists enjoying impunity there. In addition, Pakistan has been known to willfully mislead the world and international forums, such as the Financial Action Task Force, on this issue.
And the Foreign Secretary said that it was deemed essential that the perpetrators of attack were brought to justice.
It was deemed essential that the perpetrators and planners of the 22nd April attack be brought to justice. Despite a fortnight having passed since the attacks, there has been no demonstrable step from Pakistan to take action against the terrorist infrastructure on its territory or on territory under its control. Instead, all it has indulged in are denials and allegations. Our intelligence monitoring of Pakistan-based terrorist modules indicated that further attacks against India were impending. There was thus a compulsion both to deter and to preempt.
The Foreign Secretary noted that the attack was deliberate to undermine the normalcy in Jammu and Kashmir, adding that the family members were deliberately traumatized and were threatened to convey the message of the barbarism.
Family members were deliberately traumatized through the manner of the killing, accompanied by the exhortation that they should take back the message. The attack was clearly driven by the objective of undermining the normalcy returning to Jammu and Kashmir. In particular, it was designed to impact the mainstay of the economy, tourism, with a record 23 million tourists visiting the valley last year. The calculation presumably was that harming growth and development in the Union territory would help keep it backward and create fertile ground for continued cross-border terrorism from Pakistan.
And speaking on the attack in Pahalgam on April 22nd, he said Pakistani and Pakistan-trained terrorists associated with Lashkar-e-Toiba launched a barbaric attack on the tourists.
Earlier this morning, as you would be aware, India exercised its right to respond and preempt as well as deter more such cross-border attacks. These actions were measured, non-escalatory, proportionate, and responsible. They focused on dismantling the terrorist infrastructure and disabling terrorists likely to be sent across to India.
The Foreign Secretary noted that India had given inputs about TRF in half-yearly report. TRF is the terror organization that took responsibility of the attack of Pahalgam to the monitoring team of UN 1267 Sanctions Committee in May and November last year, bringing out its role as a cover for Pakistan-based terrorist group LET.
It is notable that India had given inputs about the TRF in the half-yearly report to the monitoring team of the UN's 1267 Sanctions Committee in May and November 2024, bringing out its role as a cover for Pakistan-based terrorist groups. Earlier too, in December 2023, India had informed the monitoring team about Lashkar and Jaish-e-Mohammed operating through small terror groups such as the TRF. Pakistan's pressure to remove references to TRF in the April 25 UN Security Council press statement is notable in this regard.
And speaking on India's action on terrorist camps in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, Wing Commander Vyomika Singh said the Operation Sindoor was launched to deliver justice to the victims of Pahalgam terror attack and their families. The Wing Commander also shared details of Operation Sindoor while addressing the press briefing.
9 terrorist camps were targeted and successfully destroyed. Over the last 3 decades, Pakistan has systematically built terror infrastructure. It is a complex web of recruitment and indoctrination centers, training areas for initial and refresher courses, and launch pads for handlers. These camps are located both in Pakistan as well as Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir areas. Some of the well-known training camps are located, as you can see on the screen. They are distributed from Savai Nala in the north, counting to approximately 21, ending at Bhagalpur to the south.
The Wing Commander asserted that Operation Sindoor was carried out with due diligence using niche technology, weapons, careful selection of warheads.
Of these targets for Operation Sindoor was based on credible intelligence inputs and role of these facilities in perpetrating the terror activities. The locations were so selected to avoid damage to civilian infrastructures and loss of any civilian lives. This was done with due diligence A niche technology weapons with careful selection of warheads was ensured so that there will be no collateral damage. The point of impact in each of the target was a specific building or a group of buildings. All the targets were neutralized with clinical efficiency, and the results reiterate.
Meanwhile, the first meeting of the Union Cabinet and Cabinet Committee on Security, those visuals that came in was held in the backdrop of Operation Sindoor. According to the sources, Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave the details of the strikes to his cabinet colleagues at the meeting. You can see the visuals on your screens. He said that Indian Army has carried out the operation as per the preparation without any mistake. All the ministers of the Union Cabinet expressed their faith in the leadership of Prime Minister Modi and said that the whole country is with him. Prime Minister Modi also praised the army. Those are the visuals of the cabinet briefing that took place. So with Prime Minister, Cabinet Committee on Security was the third such meeting since April 22nd when Pahalgam terror attack took place. Meanwhile, news just coming in, all-party meeting is also expected tomorrow where the government will brief about the strikes to all the political parties in the country. Those are visuals of the cabinet meet that took place earlier today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired this cabinet meet. In this cabinet meet, Prime Minister updated all the cabinet members about Operation Sindoor and the manner in which it was carried out. This was the meeting of the Union Cabinet and Cabinet Committee on Security. This was held in the backdrop of Operation Sindoor. Those visuals on your screens of the same meeting. According to sources, Prime Minister Modi in this meeting gave details of the strikes to his cabinet colleagues at the meeting. He said the Indian Army had carried out the operations as per the preparations without any mistake. All the ministers of the Union Cabinet expressed their faith in the leadership of Prime Minister Modi. They said the whole country is with him. Prime Minister also praised the army in particular in this meeting. Those are visuals of the Union Cabinet and CCS meet that took place. The session of the Cabinet Committee on Security was the third such meeting since April 22nd, the Pahalgam terror attack. And taking forward our coverage of Operation Sindoor, joining us are our colleagues, our reporters from the ground. Amritpal Singh is joining us from Chandigarh, Akshay Dongre from New Delhi. Also joining us is Lieutenant General Rameshwar Yadav, former DG Infantry. Good afternoon and welcome, General Yadav. I'll just come to you in a bit. If you can first get some updates from the ground. Akshay, let me come to you first. What is the latest that you can share with us as far as developments in New Delhi are concerned?
Well, we have just heard the Indian Army officers as well as the Foreign Secretary of India speaking about the entire Operation Sindoor, and the way it was not only coordinated but also executed on the ground, and wherever the targets were, only precision-based munition has been used to strike only on those areas where terror camps have been running, and to ensure that even in densely populated areas, the civilian population is spared. They don't deal with any damage, or there is no loss of life, which has been also achieved as far as the objectives are concerned. So Shubhendu, as far as the locations where all of these strikes have taken place, the Indian Army has already briefed us, but let me also once again remind our viewers the kind of attacks that have happened and the places where the attacks have taken place. So let us start with the Pakistan occupied Jammu Kashmir region, where about 5 attacks have taken place. About 5 strikes have been done in different areas. We are talking about 5 areas that have been impacted. First of that is Sawai Nala camp, that is in Muzaffarabad. This is a known terror camp, has been a very old terror launchpad for Pakistan. ISI has been training Pakistanis here. This was used by Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists as well as the resistant front terrorists that were also a front of LET. The second is Saidana Belal camp, that is in Muzaffarabad. This has also been hit by precision-based ammunition, as well as the strikes that have carried out by the Indian Army. Gulpur camp is in Kotli. This is also one of a very renowned, and very notorious terror training camp, as well as a camp where terrorists are also equipped with ammunition and arms as well. And besides that, there is Abbas camp Kotli, Barnala camp in Bhimber, Sarjal camp in Sialkot, Mehmoona Joya camp in Sialkot once again, Markaz Taiba in Muridke, and Markaz Subhan in Bahawalpur. So all of these are areas where terrorists were training. They were being trained to attack not only against India, but create a menace in the entire
Akshay,
region.
we'll come back to these details that you're sharing, hugely important. Amrit, if I can come to you. For the viewers who are joining us now, if you could just broadly take us through the manner in which we understand this Operation Sindoor was carried out and the targets. Three stand out: Hizbul Mujahideen, Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed.
That's right, Shumendu. At about 1 a.m. Last night, these strikes were carried out. These were basically missile strikes. Though the army and the foreign office establishment hasn't put out what kind of weapon systems were used, but sources tell us that essentially they were surface-to-surface missiles and air-to-surface missiles. The Scalp missile, which we know is a weapon system on board the Rafale, was used to do these precision strikes. Essentially, because these are supersonic missiles, which could deflect at or not detected by the Pakistani air defense systems. So they were able to strike deep inside Pakistan. The Bahawalpur madrasa, which is called Markaz Subhan, is the headquarters of Jaish-e-Mohammed, and which is about 100 kilometers inside Pakistan in Punjab, about 40 miles south of Lahore, Multan, Muridke, close to Lahore. The other locations which Akshay was telling are along really the LC, and Sialkot is also right next to Gurdaspur in Punjab. These strikes were precision strikes, as we've heard the officers, Colonel Sofia Qureshi and Wing Commander Wing Commander Singh, talk about them. They were precision strikes, looked at particular buildings based on intelligence, that where they wanted to do damage, whether there were people holed up there, terrorists holed up there, or there were weapon systems or training infrastructure that was damaged. Care, as came out in the briefing, was taken not to cause any collateral damage to the civilians, and no military or economic installations were held. So they were precision targets, sending the message across that India is not on an escalatory ladder, doesn't want to put this on an escalatory ladder, but yet exercised its right to respond to the Pahalgam terror attack and further attacks about which there are intelligence reports. That's what the Foreign Secretary told us.
Right. Amrit, Akshay, please do stay with us while we turn to Lieutenant General Rameshwar Yadav. Sir, good afternoon and welcome once again. Your thoughts first on the measured response by India against Pakistan and POK-based terror groups.
Jai Hind and Bharat Mata ki Jai to all the viewers today. Today is the day what we were all waiting for, and finally this day has come. Congratulations to our entire country, that is Bharat. So in this entire episode, what has unfolded last night, what I can make out is India has conveyed very clearly that India has political will to cross the IB or LC. And second thing, we have demonstrated our technological prowess, that we can hit you anytime, anywhere, wherever we need to. Now the message, while we have destroyed the terror camps as of now, but at the same time, there is a message which is going across that we have capability to hit your strategic target. We have capability to hit your tactical target. We have capability to hit even the individual persons also. Thereby conveying a sinister message to look, you better mend your ways. Otherwise, we will take you the way what you deserve. So this is the main issue that we have tried to convey. And the second thing what we have done is we have taken care of sensitivities of the international community. you see, large number of countries, they have supported us, and in that they have already requested one point. That is, it should not, whatever action India takes, it should not manifest into a regional war. And so, by not crossing the LC or IB, by also not hitting the civilian targets, only hitting the terror target, so India has ensured that there is no escalation of war as of now. But at the same time, the ball is now in Pakistan's court. We do not have any terror camps or anything that they can respond in the equal terms. In case they respond and try and hit any of a civilian target or a military target, that would amount to escalation of war. So onus of escalation now lies with Pakistan. So that is the state as of now. Next 48 to 72 are crucial, and we have to be very watchful to see in case Pakistan responds in a manner which is not inimical to our interests.
Right. General Yadav, could you also give us some insight into the manner in which we understand this operation was carried out? Very tactical, and the targets were destroyed in a very tactical and specific manner. The warheads that were used, how is it a continuation of what we saw in 2016, the surgical strike, 2019 Balakot attack? How does this operation take that tradition of targeting the terror heads in particular forward?
You see, this time, this complete mosaic is different. Last time, they were only single target. All right, they have taken out with the utmost surprise. This time, there was no surprise. Pakistan, it was their planning, starting, and it was a plan of their army chief. And they had implemented, and before they had implemented, they were all prepared, all along the LC, all along the border, all along their airports, and all along their strategic installations. So they were well prepared, so surprise factor was not there. And number one point. Second point, this time India has launched a hybrid war. And if you look at it, initially on 23rd April, the Prime Minister and the nation, we had initiated certain actions which were in the realms of economic. That is India's water treaty. That is number one. Then thereafter, shutting off the trade and commerce by shutting down the Atari post. So it was diplomatic and economic actions that we had taken, primarily to give chance to Pakistan that you better mend your ways and do something to ensure these terror groups do not operate from the soil. But they did not. So thereafter, the military was used as an instrument of last option that we had. And this is what we have done. And what we have done now, we have already given a sample of it. It is only an iceberg. And we have a number of contingency plans available in case Pakistan escalates the entire ante. So in that case, they are going to be doomed, and the major military operations will be launched. And as regards to the strength of Pak armed forces and Indian armed forces are far superior to Pakistan. Technologically, we have an edge, and history is reckoner that whichever side has got better technology have been the winner in any war. So this time everything is on our favor. Now it is for Pakistan to take a call, and it is better that they start mending their ways and see to it that their terror imprints are reduced gradually and they're finished later on.
Right, let me turn to our correspondent Amritpal Singh, who's connected with us from Chandigarh. Amrit, the point that you closely covered the surgical strikes of 2016, 29 Balakot air strikes as well. Just to understand the context of Operation Sindoor a little better, the manner in which it's carried out and the targets achieved.
As General Yadav very beautifully explained, just to add to what General Yadav said, I think the difference this time is the scale of the operation is much broader. Look at the targets hit. You begin from the north, you hit Muzaffarabad, you come down to Kotli, you come down to Bhimbar, you come down to Punjab, Sialkot, 2 targets hit. Go down Muridke, right next to Lahore. Go deep inside, 100 kilometers, Bawalpur, south of Multan. 25 minutes, precision targets, precision hitting, 25 minutes of military objective achieved, operation over. Before the Pakistanis could wake up, before the Pakistanis could rub their eyes and believe what had happened, it was all over. Secondly, they were, as General Yadav was saying, there was no surprise element. There was no immediate knee-jerk reaction. The Pakistanis couldn't deny it. The last time around in Balakot, they said not a crow has been killed. This time around, the Pakistani people have put out visuals themselves on social media showing the craters in the Bhavalpur, that Markaz-e-Subhan, or even of Markaz Taiba in Muridke, which were the headquarters. The Markaz Subhan is the headquarters of Jaish-e-Mohammed, and Markaz Taiba is the headquarters of Lashkar-e-Taiba, where Hafiz Saeed used to run his operations from, and this fellow Maulana Masood Azhar used to run his operations from. In fact, there are reports. He himself has put out a statement saying 10 of my family members have been killed at 4 p.m. Pakistani time. Their funeral is taking place, which includes his elder sister and his brother-in-law. 10 of his direct family relations have been killed. 4 aides have been killed. So basically the Indian Army, the Indian military, the Indian Air Force had specific information, specific intelligence. They knew exactly where to strike. Even in the compound of the buildings, if they knew which building to strike, they struck there. The missile went inside, created a crater, went in, exploded. 25 minutes, it was all over. So in that sense, it's different from Balakot, and it's different from, what happened in the wake of 2019, because we didn't, unlike the last time around when, the planes were engaged in a dogfight, and the plane went down, and you know how Wing Commander Abhinandan had to eject on their side, on the Pakistani side, and then he was returned after international pressure and the Indian pressure on Pakistan. This time around, the LC wasn't crossed, the IB wasn't crossed, precision weapons were launched, missiles were launched, and the military objective was achieved.
Right.
So it's different
Amrit, yes.
in that sense from 2016 and 2019 strikes.
Thanks for that perspective, Amrit. General Yadav, taking a cue from what my colleague was saying, the scale of Operation Sindoor, if you look at the map from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, hundreds of kilometers down to the international border as well, also speaks volumes about the spread of the terror infrastructure, training camps, call it what you may, in Pakistan and POK.
You see, means it is a very well designed and very well practiced the strategy that they have. You see, in conventional war capabilities, Pak stands nowhere in India. So they every time anything happens, they always start doing the nuclear saber rattling. That is one. So they have found a shortcut by using the non-state actors to do their proxy and initiate terrorism within India. That is one point. But one point in this entire episode, which is highlighting, and I must tell your viewers, that all past journals, they have been punching beyond their weight. If you look at the history, in 1965, it was Ayub Khan. Then 1971, Yahya Khan. Then in Kargil war, it was Musharraf. And now Asif Munir. They all, the way they have planned out their operation, they have not done the complete analysis. It shows their professional inadequacy. And there is a sense of conceit and hubris in them. So they have not analyzed the entire mosaic and the complete spectrum. What can happen, what contingency could be there, what would be the reaction of India. Fully knowing that India is a very, very strong country and economically is the fourth largest economy of the world as of now, and they stand nowhere there. So they have been doing this, and if another interesting point is all three journals earlier, they all took over power in Pakistan. Probably Asif Munir is also looking to get into political chair and probably be the president by creating this kind of problem for the nation. So all these journals, they have been using terrorism and also their public and their complete nation for their personal interest. So Asif Munir is, I don't think, is anything different from here. Whereas if you look at the way we have conducted our operation, it has been done with the utmost maturity. We have taken time. We have given them adequate warning, and we have ensured that nothing goes wrong about it. We have not hit any civilian target. We have not hit any military target. We have ensured that international sensitivities are taken care of, and we have taken about one fortnight before we have gone in for this, because as a last resort. You had heard Foreign Secretary. He has spelled out each and everything, the way we have gone about, what has been the philosophy. behind our thought process and the way we have gone about this operation. I think this is one operation which is going to be a case study in times to come. See how intelligence-based operations can be conducted and where the hybrid war can be conducted utilizing all the institutions of state in order to prop up the national power.
Right, an important development if you can turn to. Soon after the news of Operation Sindoor broke, fake videos shared by several pro-Pakistan handles started circulating on social media. Refuting the claims, Ministry of Defence of India has clarified that it is being falsely claimed about strikes on Indian security establishments. Now, these videos shared is old, not from India. The video is from sectarian clashes that took place last year, 2024, in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, a province of Pakistan. You can see the glimpses of those screenshots. Further, an old image showing a crashed aircraft is being recirculated by pro-Pakistani handles in various forms in the current context of Operation Sindoor. Now, this image that you can see on your screens that we label as fake is an image from an earlier incident involving an Indian Air Force MiG-29 fighter jet that crashed in Barmer, Rajasthan in September 2024. The government has thus urged people to rely only on official updates from government sources, Government of India, for authentic information. General Yadav, if I can come to you, you've been telling us about the manner in which we are in the age of hybrid warfare. Is this challenge of fighting fake news, fake narratives also part of it, and it's important to flag it in time?
Yes, it is part of it. It is part of the information warfare and psychological warfare. If you look at China, they are expert in it. And Pakistan, the ISPR, they are also quite good at it. So this is what they are trying to circulate, that it is an information warfare. I just saw one video of Sky News, one of the anchors from the Western media. They were interviewing their information minister, Mr. Tarar, and Mr. Tarar is denying that Pakistan is not involved in any of the terror activities until the time he was confronted by the anchor saying that, look, your defense minister and Bilawal Bhutto, they have accepted your complicity in organizing this terror camps and their involvement with the terrorism. So therefore, he was trying to, and she also said, look, even Osama bin Laden was found in Pakistan, so how do you say? So she very specifically said that our intelligence indicates that you people are very much involved in ensuring that you people are involved in terrorism in the region. So this is a part of information warfare, a psychological warfare that they are saying, and as part of hybrid warfare, there's a cyber security is another aspect that we have to take care, because there were news earlier also. They were trying to hack certain of our ministries' sites, and they're trying to spread some false narrative. And what videos and the photographs that you have shown, they are part of this information warfare.
Right. Amrit, if I can come to you, as we understand on Twitter, elsewhere on social media, hashtag Operation Sindoor is trending, but what is also trending, a lot of fake inputs, fake news, fake images. A challenge to also segregate the truth from the false at a time like this, and therefore the update coming in on those fake updates is hugely significant for people to note.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's part of IW. If they are doing IW, we need to do IW as well and counter their propaganda. Because let's look at it dispassionately. What would Pakistan's response be? If it doesn't respond, their army's morale, their country's, their people morale will go down. Their army's position in the eyes of their own people will go down, that India came and hit you. You were saying we had the nuclear button, we have the nuclear button, we have this warhead, we have that warhead. Your air defense systems couldn't detect their missiles. So what response now? Pakistan, like in India, after the Pahalgam, there was this whole public pressure on the government to act. Of course, the military took its own time to act, acted on credible, specific intelligence, and they did a brilliant military operation with a brilliant military strategy. Now, the onus, there would be pressure on Pakistani army to act, or the Pakistani military to act. In fact, the three service chiefs, including General Munir and the DG ISI, who's also the NSA now, have met Shahbaz Sharif and briefed him on the security situation in the region. That's why, as General Yadav was saying, we need to keep the ante up, we need to keep our guard up, because they could retaliate. We'll have to see what sort of retaliation they do. But now, as you know, it's a brilliant military strategy. They are in a bind how to react, because we've hit terror infrastructures there. We don't train terrorists in our mandirs, gurdwaras, mosques, churches. They do. We hit those specific targets. Now, what do they hit? Either they hit our economic installations, or a civilian population, or a military targets. Then the onus is on them to escalate. So they're in a bind. So what do? They get down to IW. They get down to propaganda. They try and put out that they've been saying that 5 of your Rafales we have down. Earlier, the defense minister came and said, well, we've taken their POWs. How do you take POWs when our soldiers didn't cross the line? So have you come inside our territory and taken our soldiers? Are you claiming that? So, they are typically involved in IW, in propaganda, which as a military, it's a good military strategy on their part, that this is what is expected from the ISPR. That is why that whole department is created. We have our own ways to counter that, and therefore, journalists like you and me should put out this message clear that please be aware, the viewer, please be aware of the propaganda floating out there. Always fact check what you get on your mobiles.
Right, hugely significant there for all of us to be cautious on social media, to know the fake from the real. Amrit, Akshay, thank you for joining us with those inputs. Meanwhile, on Operation Sindoor, Indian Navy Lieutenant Vinay Narwal's father, Rajesh Narwal, said Government of India has taken the right step. They will always remember the strike. Indian Navy Lieutenant Vinay Narwal was killed in the deadly Pahalgam terror attack on April 22nd.
आज भारत सरकार ने वो काम करके दिखाया है। हाँ, जिन घरों से जिनके लाल चले गए उनका जीवन तो वापस नहीं आ सकता, परंतु ऐसा कुछ हो कि इस तरह की कायराना हरकतें और बुज़दिली हरकतें करने की कोई साहस ना करे। उनको एक संदेश मिल चुका है मेरी सरकार की तरफ से, हमारी सरकार की तरफ से, कि यदि कभी उंगली भी उठाई तो उसका जवाब कैसा होगा, उनको समझ लेना चाहिए।
And Vinay Narwal's mother, Asha Narwal, has expressed gratitude to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. She said today a tribute has been paid to all those who lost their lives.
ये बहुत ही अच्छी बात है कि जो उन्होंने मोदी साहब ने बदला लिया है। सेना के जवानों को यही मैसेज देना चाहती हूँ कि आगे बढ़ते रहो। उन सभी को श्रद्धांजलि मिली है, वो जो शहीद हुए हैं उनको न्याय मिला है।
And also killed by terrorists in Pahalgam was Syed Adil Hussain Shah, a local who was shot while he was trying to save the tourist. On Operation Sindoor, his father Haider Shah said he is thankful to the government for taking revenge.
आज जो उन 26 लोगों का बदला वहाँ पे लिया गया तो हम तो खुश हैं। हम इस गवर्नमेंट का शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं, फौज ने और गवर्नमेंट ने इसका बदला लिया।
And relatives of victims of Pahalgam attack continue to applaud India's strike on Pakistan terror base. Family of Shubham Dwivedi, who was killed in the terrorist attack in Pahalgam, has expressed gratitude to Prime Minister Modi. They said the grief of losing Shubham is still fresh for them. In such a situation, the retaliatory action of the Indian Army has brought some relief to their hearts.
आज मैं रात 2 बजे से लगातार देख रहा हूं और मैं सलाम करता हूं अपने देश की सेना को और धन्यवाद अर्पित करता हूं अपने देश के माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को, जिन्होंने देश की 140 करोड़ जनता के मन की बात को समझा, दिल के दर्द को समझा, उसके दर्द को समझा, उसके गुस्सा को समझा और जिस तरह हमारी सशक्त सेनाओं ने अदम्य साहस और शौर्य के साथ पाकिस्तान में पल रहे आतंकवाद का विनाश करने का काम किया है, उसके लिए मैं सलाम करता हूं, मैं धन्यवाद अर्पित करता हूं हमारे देश की सरकार को। हमारा परिवार जो इतने दिन से गम में था, आज हमारे परिवार ने रात के 2 बजे से कुछ हल्कापन महसूस किया है। जो दिल में हमारे दर्द था, उस दर्द में हमारे मलहम लगा है।
बहुत धन्यवाद करती हूँ, उनसे बहुत थैंक यू कहती हूँ कि उन्होंने मेरे पति की मौत का बदला लिया है। जिस तरीके से हमारे पूरे परिवार को उन पे विश्वास था, उन्होंने उसी तरीके से जवाब देके हमारे विश्वास को कायम रखा है। एंड आई एम रियली थैंकफुल। असली श्रद्धांजलि, और शायद वो आज जहाँ पे भी है, आज वो शायद थोड़ी शांति में होगा।
जब 22 अप्रैल को हमारा बच्चा शहीद हुआ वहाँ पे, तब भी हमने ऐसा कहा था, हमारे बच्चे के साथ जो बाकी के जितने भी लोग शहीद हुए, तभी मैंने कहा था कि नहीं, एक अब क्रांति आएगी हमारे देश में। और मुझे विश्वास था कि हमारे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी हमारी भावनाओं का, हमारे जो हम लोग एक दुख के दौर से गुजर रहे हैं, उन भावनाओं का आदर करेंगे और आतंकवाद के समूल नाश के लिए वो निश्चित रूप से बहुत कठोर कदम उठाएंगे।
Asawari Jagdale, daughter of Santosh Jagdale, who was killed in Pahalgam terror attack, said it is a real tribute and justice to those who were killed by the terrorists.
जो हमारे मेरे पिताजी का या फिर जितने भी उधर बच्चे थे, उन सबके पिताजी और जितनी भी औरतें थे, उनके पतियों का जो मतलब जान ली गई, तो उनका ये मरण जो था वो वेस्ट नहीं हुआ। और मुझे लगता है ये उनके लिए आज सच में दी गई एक श्रद्धांजलि है जो भारत ने एयर स्ट्राइक करके की है। मोदी जी को मैं बस तहे दिल से थैंक यू बोलना चाहती हूँ।
Kaustubh Ganbote, who also lost his life in Pahalgam terror attack in Pune, his son Kunal said that we all were waiting for such action to be taken, and we have hope that this Indian government will do it.
हम सभी इस चीज़ की प्रतीक्षा कर रहे थे, क्योंकि भारत सरकार के से हम लोग बहुत उम्मीद लगा के बैठे थे, और ये उन्होंने सही किया है। और जो नाम इन्होंने सिंदूर दिया है, तो ये भी नाम हम एकदम करेक्ट दिया है, क्योंकि इसमें जो भी औरतें थे, मम्मी थी या आसावरी थी या आंटी थे, तो इनके रिस्पेक्ट में या बाकी के जो औरतें थी उनके रिस्पेक्ट में दिया है।
Ravi Kiran, relative of Pahalgam attack victim Manjunath Rao, said that we're thrilled by the retaliation. This is a tribute to all the victims of Pahalgam.
For that, Sindhur also they are taking the retaliation. We are very much thrilled, and this is a tribute to all 27. We are finding this as a tribute to all our 27 Pahalgam dead our cousins.
And my colleague Akshay Dongre continues to report on the developments, but before that, Union Home Minister Amit Shah has called for a meeting with Chief Ministers, DGPs and Chief Secretaries of border states at 2 p.m. IST today. That should be happening in about 15 minutes from now. Chief Ministers of Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Sikkim, West Bengal, Lieutenant Governor of Ladakh, Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir as well have been called for this meeting. That's the update. In about 15 minutes from now, that meeting is going to take place with the Home Minister. He's called a meeting at 2 p.m. IST. My colleague Akshay is joining us from New Delhi. Akshay, a slew of meetings to follow. The one that we're learning about is the meeting called by the Home Minister.
Well, yes, now as far as the country is concerned, be it at the political leadership or at other kind of arrangements that have to be made as far as internal security of the country is concerned, all kind of arrangements are being done, and especially the arrangements that have been done are being rechecked as far as whatever kinds of reinforcements are concerned, be it at the police level or at the military level at the borders and even inside the disturbed areas such as the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir that has been reeling under the pressure of these kind of terror attacks that are emanating out of Pakistan. So Shubhendu, the government is on high alert, and it is going to remain on high alert at least for the next 72 hours. Now there are indications coming in from Pakistan that if Indian military halts operations, they are willing to also talk, or rather they are willing to come to talking terms. However, we have seen from the track record of Pakistan that all these kind of statements, these kind of claims and commitments that have been given by Pakistan have all turned out to be lies. They have turned out to be different kind of deceptions. That Pakistan has a habit of stabbing its neighbors in the back, be it Afghanistan or India. Any kind of statements that are coming in from Pakistan cannot be trusted. These kind of statements of peace offerings or of Pakistan that is now reeling under the pressure, be it at the economic front or at other fronts, including the military front, or even if you talk about the Indus Water Treaty issue, it is surrounded as far as all domains of its society is concerned by increasing pressure, and all that has all of this has happened because of the inflammatory speeches that were given by the top leadership of Pakistan military that led to a Pahalgam terror attack like Pahalgam, and which led to deaths of about 26 people, all innocent tourists killed based on their religion, and one Kashmiri civilian who was killed after he tried to stop the attackers as well. So the kind of massacre that has taken place in Pahalgam is in fact a war strategy of Pakistan. It is not just an action, and as we heard in the press briefing by the Foreign Secretary, the significance of these attacks is because Pakistan has been planning for many more such attacks, and that exactly is the reason why it was imperative to strike these terror infrastructure and terror camps that were operating in different areas of Pakistan. So as our colleague Amritpal was telling us, the scale of this operation, Operation Sindoor, is much more broader than any that we have seen in the recent past. Especially if you compare it to Balakot airstrike or surgical strikes. The earlier strikes were precision based, but this time from Multan to Pakistan occupied Kashmir, several areas have been struck. So you can imagine the magnitude of these terror camps that are being run from one end to another of the country. So what else would you call it if not a terror hub, and a terror factory?
Right. Akshay, also one element that we've been talking about for some time now is the manner in which hybrid warfare becomes a part of any conflict, when the adversary or those who support the adversary make use of social media, fake videos, fake images to create a certain narrative against the country. In that sense, we've also showed some images that have been flagged by the government. How proactively is New Delhi working to deal with this challenge?
Well, India's state-run organizations such as the Press Bureau of India, Press Information Bureau, all of these are working tirelessly to fact check all of these claims that are emanating out of Pakistan. So you can understand imagine the magnitude of lies and deceptions on social media in this hybrid warfare. If the defense minister of the country makes a claim that several prisoners of war have been taken into custody by Pakistan, so they were claiming that several of the Indian soldiers have been taken into custody, and this was the defense minister, and minutes later he had to retract the statement because it was even false news was even fed to the defense minister of the country. So you can imagine the kind of, or rather the scale of fake news that is spread all across Pakistan when it comes to the attack that was conducted, the operation that was conducted by India. So in an order to save face, all sort of conspiracy theories are being cooked up. Figurative figures are being given that so and so number of fighter jets have been downed by Pakistan, and so many prisoners of war have been taken. Srinagar Air Base has been struck. So all of these are false claims, false news that is being spread, not to mislead others, but first to mislead their own public, because the kind of humiliation that Pakistan has faced at the hands of the Indian Armed Forces, is directly an attack on the Pakistani army. So all of these claims are fake. PIB is fact checking all of these. Other organizations, even individuals, are fact checking. Many of the videos are from video games that are being spread across Pakistan. Given the low literacy in the country, the leadership expects people to believe video game clips to be taken as war videos, where when fighter jets are down, they are being claimed that Indian fighter jets are down. Older images of even Pakistani jets crashing in the country are being shared with the public on social media, that so and so number of Rafales or Sukhois or MiGs have been down. All fake news just to mislead not only the world but its own Awam, its own public as well. Back to you, Shubhendu.
Right. Also, Akshay, in view of the important meetings that are taking place, one that the Home Minister will also chair in a short while from now, there's also the civil preparedness drill that was scheduled for today. Do we know about what is happening on that front?
Well, as far as the Mock drills are concerned, it's always good to have drills, consistent drills across the country. We are a country that is surrounded by countries such as Pakistan. We are surrounded by countries such as China or Bangladesh. Countries that have been problem makers for several decades for India and its own internal security. So the mock drill will continue as planned. In fact, in several states, the mock drills are already being carried out in Uttar Pradesh and in other parts of the country. These mock drills are being carried out at individual level as well as at government level. And as far as civic societies are concerned, they are also spreading information about these mock drills that are taking place or are supposed to take place. So that is just a security measure for the people to, it's a preventive measure rather, Shubhendu, that's taking place. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has already held a cabinet meeting in which all the cabinet ministers were present, where the top leadership was briefed about the operation, and other cabinet members were also briefed by the Prime Minister himself, because let's not forget that Prime Minister himself was up and monitoring the entire operation. As far as Operation Sindhur is concerned, there are also expectations that an all-party meet will be called to discuss the attack, to discuss the operation with all the parties, and the kind of unanimity that we have seen across the party lines with the Indian Armed Forces is in fact should be applauded, and that in fact in the situation of crisis, the political parties have let go of their political differences and come together to show India as one united country. So that in fact is enough to give goosebumps to Pakistan and to give sleepless nights to Pakistani military. So several high-level meetings are taking place.
Right, Akshay, and we'll keep coming back to you, Akshay, as more of such meetings happen. We'll come back to you for more updates. Thanks very much for joining us for now. Meanwhile, in cities and towns nationwide, locals express pride in the armed forces and satisfaction with the government's response against Pakistan. Many describe the operation as absolutely necessary to send a clear message against terrorism.
जो अभी सरकार किया बहुत पाकिस्तान को एक बार सबक देना बहुत जरूरी था, क्योंकि जो जमीनी हकीकत है जिस तरह से वो कर रहा है वो हमारे लिए बहुत दुखदायक था।
सब आतंकवादी जो अड्डे थे जिन्होंने बार बार जहां से हमला किया था वो सबको ध्वंस कर दिया, तो हम बहुत खुश है, बहुत खुश है, बहुत खुश है।
नहीं होना ही चाहिए कि बार बार की मगजमारी सब खत्म हो जाए, ये बढ़िया है। मोदी का जो निर्णय है वो बेस्ट है।
मोदी जी से बहुत आशा थी कि भाई कि वो कब ऐसा काम करे जो, और आज सुबह जब मैं उठा तो मेरे को बहुत खुशी हुई इस चीज़ की कि मोदी जी ने पाकिस्तान के अंदर 9 ठिकानों पर बहुत बड़ा हमला करके और यानी कि हिंदुस्तान वासियों को बहुत बड़ी खुशी का राहत दी है।
आज पूरे विश्व को पता चल गया भारत की ताकत क्या है, कि जो हमारे पास जो सैन्य सामान था वो खाली नुमाइश के लिए नहीं था, जब इसको वक्त आएगा प्रयोग किया जाएगा। तो जो कार्रवाई हमारी सेनाओं ने की माननीय प्रधानमंत्री के आदेश पर, और जो आज पाकिस्तान की हालत हुई है वो देखने के काबिल है।
प्रधानमंत्री जिन पे हमें पूरा विश्वास है, उन्होंने जो रात को एक जो स्ट्राइक की, जो अटैक किया, उसमें वहाँ पे पाकिस्तान में जितने भी उनके आतंकवादियों के गढ़ थे, जहाँ उनकी कार्रवाई चलती थी, जहाँ से वो पैदा होते थे, उनको मिट्टी में मिलाने का जो काम किया है भारतीय सरकार ने, मैं उनका धन्यवाद करता हूँ।
भारत ने जो किया है कि इसका बदला लिया है वो तो उसने अच्छा किया है, इस पे हम शुक्रगुजार हैं।
देश के प्रधानमंत्री ने देश के नाल ये वादा कीता सी कि जिहड़ी आतंकवाद दी बची कुची जमीन है उन्हों भी समाप्त करता जाएगा। आज देश के प्रधानमंत्री ने अपने वादे को पूरा किया है।
कल जो रात को हमला हुआ है, मतलब सेना ने जो हमला किया है ये अच्छा किया है, और मेरा तो एक ही निवेदन है कि सेना को पूरी छूट दे दी है और देनी भी चाहिए। जितने भी आतंकवादी है पाकिस्तान में, एक भी आतंकवादी नहीं बचना चाहिए। अभी तक तो शुरुआत हुई है।
Very great lesson. This time we should not leave them. They should learn the lesson for their lifetime.
The retaliation was needed, I think. I think justice has been served. Pakistan has been attacking Indians and Indian soldiers that have been killed throughout the years, over all the years. So just like Uri attack was there, Puilwama attack was there. This time it was on civilians. It was a much grave issue. So I think it should be done.
I think it's much needed and it's very appropriate. Pakistan is a country that practices cross-border terrorism as an instrument of its state policy. So they need to be served a taste of their own medicine. I think it's only befitting.
News just coming in from New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is currently meeting President Draupadi Murmu. He's briefing President Murmu on Operation Sindoor. Those are visuals of cavalcade of Prime Minister that came in just a short while ago. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is meeting President Draupadi Murmu, updating her on the developments of Operation Sindoor. Slogans of Bharat Mata Ki Jai and Vande Mataram were raised as people across India celebrated Operation Sindoor and hailed the armed forces.
Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Vande Mataram. 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 Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram. Bharat. Vande. Jai Shivaji. Bharat Mata Ki Jai.
And before we close, let me thank General Rameshwar Yadav for joining us in the program. That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan this QR code on the screen and download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live and NewsNight. Namaskar.